Hey, it's Jennifer, and this is my pricing worksheet. Now, this is an actual worksheet that I use when I'm trying to figure out how I need to price something. So I'm sharing it with you so that you can do the same. Now, the version of this that you're going to get will be view only. So you will need to download a copy of this so that you can work in the document. So the way you'll do that is you'll come over to File, and you won't have as many options here, but you will be able to click on download and then come over to Microsoft Excel, click that, and it'll download an Excel version, and you can work on that locally on your computer, or you can upload it into Google Drive if you choose, but you definitely need to do that so that you can work in the document. And a link to this worksheet is going to be in the little purple button that's hovering in the top corner of the screen somewhere. And then at the end of this video, it'll hover right in the middle of the screen. So you can click on that purple button to download, to access the link so that you can go and download this worksheet. Okay, so let's go. So you want to start at the top and work your way down. The white squares are the ones that you should fill in. The blue ones are the ones you should not fill in because there are formulas in those blue cells that are going to automatically calculate things based on what you put in the white cells. So stay out of the blue cells, work in the white cells. So let's start at the top. Annual revenue goal. So this can be a stretch goal. This can be, whatever you want it to be, but whatever you would like to make in the next year, go ahead and put that number in. So let's just use a nice, easy number. Let's use $100,000. Okay. So as soon as you put that in, you see a couple of things have calculated here. Your monthly revenue goal is over here. So that's about how much you want to try to make a month on average. And your monthly salary and your annual salary are here, but we need to put in some other numbers in order for this number to be correct. So we next need to put in your business expenses. Everybody has them. If you don't know what your business expenses are, you need to start tracking them. So go back and see, what have you spent on your business? Every penny, quarter, nickel, dime, and dollar that needs to be classified as a business expense, you need to be counting that. So once you know that number, you want to put that in here. We're just going to come up with an easy number here and say that this business, our fictitious business here, spends $12,000 a year. That's about $1,000 a month on expenses, which would not be out of the ordinary for a business. Now, your state and federal taxes, this is going to depend on you, your situation, where you live, et cetera, et cetera. So I can't tell you what that number should be, but there are ways to calculate it if you don't already know. There are lots of online tools. I've given you a link here to one that you can try out if you want to. And I've just gone over there and put in our fictitious numbers here, $100,000, let's say Baltimore, Maryland, and then we scroll down and it calculates all the taxes here. So it's saying that the taxes are $30,238. Now, that's probably not going to be exact, okay? And I'm not an accountant. I'm not giving you tax advice. I'm just sharing with you a tool that you can use. So you need to find your own information to make sure that it's accurate. So once you put that in, now we see that you should be having a savings of at least $4,000. So here I've made a note that you should aim to save 3 to 6 months business expenses or more, but at least this much will be enough to cover you should you, fall short on a revenue goal and you need some cash out of your savings to pay your business expenses. Okay, so that's going to calculate automatically for you. I have it set for 3 months, but if you wanted to, you could change this little 3 up here to a 6. Now, at the bottom here, you'll have your salary, your take-home pay, and this is what you should be paying yourself. You should aim to take home at least 50 to 80% of what you are generating in revenue. So here you see that comes out to this $53,762, and monthly that's $44.80. So that's all good if that's your annual revenue goal. You can adjust this as much as you want to. Just make sure that you're also adjusting your federal and state income taxes as well, and your expenses if you think they will be different. So then we go down to pricing. Now, here, the first square is your take-home hourly rate. Now, I'm not suggesting that you price hourly. I discourage hourly pricing. I encourage package pricing. But what this really is about is your internal hourly rate. So if you look at your revenue goal of $100,000 and you break that down to how many weeks you want to work a year, how many days you want to work a week, and how many hours you want to work a day, you should come up with a number that's your internal hourly rate, how much you should be making an hour based on the work that you're doing and the amount of time that you're doing it. So this is internal for your information. This is not necessarily an hourly price you're going to give a client. So let's say you think you want to take home $75 an hour. Well, that means your internal hourly rate or your business hourly rate needs to be $150. It automatically calculates for you. Why 150? Because you need to account for your expenses that we just talked about up here, your taxes, your health insurance, your business expenses, all of those things. So that means that you should be making, to make $100,000 a year, you should be making about $150 an hour. Now let's look at your time. How much time does it take you to complete this project? Let's say you're a coach and you work with a client for 20 hours a week, or not 20 hours a week, 20 hours a month, okay, for one client. So you put in your 20 hours there. And if you have any costs, let's say you purchase some type of materials or something in order to do that work with that particular client. Let's say you spend $100 on materials. So here we see that your price for that package, that coaching package, needs to be $3,100 if your goal is to take home $75 an hour and you want to make this $100,000. And what that comes down to at the bottom is how many projects or clients you need per year. So in this scenario, you need 32.26 clients a year, which comes out to 2.69, or round that up to 3 clients per month if you're charging each client $3,100 and your ultimate goal is $100,000. So it's very important that you start at the top, because these numbers down here are going to depend on what you said your ultimate revenue goal is. So once you start seeing these numbers, you want to think about, okay, does this seem like what I want? Can I plan on 3 clients a month? Can I plan on 32 clients a year? Is my pricing right? Maybe you want to make some adjustments. Maybe you haven't put your hourly rate, high enough. Maybe you want your hourly rate to be $100 an hour internally, and that's going to change your pricing. Now your package is $4,100. So now that takes down the number of clients you need. Now you're down to 2 instead of 3. So you can play around with this and see what works for you, and determine what your pricing needs to be. Now, of course, you can't just price, as high as you want without offering something of value. So you need to make sure that what you're offering, that the value of it is reflected in what you are offering people. So a $4,100 coaching package needs to be worth that. It needs to get people the results that make that price worthwhile. So that's very important. I won't get into value too much, but that's just something that I want you to keep in mind. Now, if you are in another industry, like if you are a real estate agent and you don't have necessarily projects, but you have an amount that you typically make whenever you sell a house, for example. So maybe you just want to play around with these numbers and come up with something like this. Like maybe every house you sell, you bring home $20,000. That just helps you see, okay, you need about 1 house sale a month, 0.41, we round that up to 1. Maybe you need 1 a month to get your 20,000. Or if you are bringing home $10,000 every time you sell a house, then you need to sell about 10 houses a year. So this just helps you get a feel for how you can set up some of your revenue goals and some of your marketing activities so that you can hit this number right here. So again, download this worksheet in the purple button that's hovering around the screen, and download it, make a copy for yourself, and work in it as much as you want, and let me know how it goes.